Alright guys, so today I want to talk to you about line maintenance, reel maintenance. Make sure you're taking care of all your gear to make sure it's going to last the best it possibly can. I know today's sound quality is going to be a little crappy. I got dishwasher and laundry all in the background kind of going, and but I just want to go ahead and make these videos and kind of pass on some of this information and some of these things that I've experienced on my own. And so what we're going to do, I got my bait casters back here. I need to go ahead and re-spool both low profiles, and then of course my swim bait rod I dropped to the bottom of the lake for the second time. So I want to go ahead and take it apart, make sure everything's nice and clean, and you know, go ahead and re-grease it, re-oil all my reels, even though my two spinning reels are in good shape right now. But I want to go over the types of lines that I've got on all of them. So of course the first thing to do is to basically get them prepped, get them off the rods, and get all the line off of them. So pretty straightforward. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in a little bit of a high speed kind of thing here for you, and we'll start getting all these reels kind of broken down. I'll lay them out, I'll go over what I've got on them, and then we'll kind of talk about what I do to kind of prepare myself to get ready to clean them. Okay, so let's kick it off into a little high speed montage with some music or something. Alright, so real quick I want to show you how I'm going to take these off real quick. I don't have a spooling machine at home. You know, normally I go up to work, I spool my reels up there, but on bait casters it's really easy to do it at home. It's not like spinning reels where you got to lay it down real nice and even. But to take the line off, all I've done, I've taken a drill, put a screw and a nut inside of it, and a water bottle basically, and I will just kick that into high speed, and that way I can kind of suck all the line off real quick. I don't plan on saving any of this line. It's all going to get thrown away because it's getting pretty old, and of course I will replace everything. So let's knock that out real quick. Alright, so now I've got all the line off these three reels. That'll give me a chance to kind of take it apart a little bit easier, kind of clean it up, spray it down, got to do all the things I got to do. Basically, I've got my three reels here. This is a Chronarch 51E, so it's a left-handed 6.4. I really like these old Chronarchs. They work great. I just bought another one. It's in the mail up this way, so I can set up another high-speed one. It'll be a 7.1, just like this one right here. This is a 201 E7. So I will have my frog reel, and now I'll have a flip and pitching reel as well, instead of constantly going back and forth and switching. As I talked about in an earlier video, this one's got a bunch of green on the side because of the braid kind of stained it, but now I'll always know which one's the frog reel. And of course my last one here is one of my favorites. This is the Calcutta D. It's a 201, so it's real small. It fits in my hand very easily, and this is what I'm throwing big swim baits with. I'll also throw my Alabama rig as well. However, the last time I was out there, I boat flipped, you know, a little 4-pound bass into the kayak, and as you know, in a kayak there's not a lot of space. So when I had this rod laying on the deck, that fish came in and the rod went out, and this thing sank to the bottom of the lake. So that's twice now it sank to the bottom of the same lake. So I need to take it apart, I need to clean it, make sure that there's nothing in there, nothing going on. It feels great, feels smooth, and part of the reason it feels like it's so good is because I use this product right here. It's called Corrosion X. Okay, and what this does is I got introduced to this in the salt water, and you just basically spray down the entire inside of your reel, everything inside there, and it puts a thin film across it to protect it from any type of corrosion. You know, in the saltwater environment, it's very important. And considering these reels are probably 10 years old, they come from the coast, and they are now my freshwater reels. They are still like brand new. They operate, they're extremely smooth. I am so impressed with these reels and how they function. That's why I went ahead and bought a third one. I'm hoping it's as good. He told me it's 10 out of 10 mechanically. It's got a little bit of boat rash on it, but you know, these things really hold up. So if you're looking for a good investment, you know, you can't really go wrong with Shimano's as long as you take care of them. So what we're doing today is part of that taking care of them process. So I'm gonna pull this side plate out, pull my spool out, make sure that everything's nice and clean, oil my bearings, oil my gears, wipe everything down. As you know, with the line going through these tiny little holes here, they get a little bit of buildup in there. They get a little buildup on the bottom of the reel, so I'm going to go ahead and clean all that down. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and re-oil. I use the Reel Butter by Ardent. I really like this. The viscosity is not so thin that it evaporates, but it's not so thick that it slows anything down. And then of course, once I re-spool, something that I like to use, I just recently started using it because I've gone back to fluorocarbons, is a line conditioner. This one right here just so happens to be by Bass Pro Shops. There's lots of them out there. There's a KVD, there's Real Magic, there's an Ardent line conditioner as well. I just so happened to, because I work for Bass Pro, wanted to try out the Bass Pro product and see how it does for me. So that's that on that line conditioner. So I'm going to break all these reels down. I'm going to show you what the inside of them look like, certain areas to kind of pay attention to. I'm going to bring you in a little closer so you can see what I got going on, and then we'll start spooling back up with some of these lines. A couple of things I like to have whenever I'm doing this is a towel in my workspace. I've dropped screws, I've lost screws, and when you got a white towel like this, it makes it very easy to find them. I got a pair of pliers here, nothing too crazy about the pliers. They're just standard little fishing pliers. Got them in a leather case that one of my fans basically made for me, so that's pretty cool. They went ahead and embroidered my initials on there. Lots of Q-tips, can't have enough Q-tips. I've got a very, very small flathead, and then of course I got a little pick. It's like a dentist pick, and I use that to kind of get in some of those fine little areas, you know, where that dirt kind of builds up, kind of pick some of that stuff out there and just make sure that everything's nice and clean. It's got a flat end on the other side. And then, you know, another good thing to kind of have around is like gun cleaning swabs. You know, those tiny little patches. If you've got some of those, that's another thing that works really, really well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and break down a couple of these reels real quick. I'm going to bring y'all in closer so you can see what I am to take it apart and the kind of areas that I focus on and concentrate. All right, guys, so I kind of have everything broken down here, as you can see, with this one reel. And you know, the low profiles can kind of be confusing, but as long as you lay everything out the exact same way that you took it apart, it's going to make it easy. If you have to, take pictures of it, do whatever you have to do. I'm going to show you the inside of this reel here. This is kind of what it looks like. It's actually in really good shape. It's not too dirty. Just some of the surface areas got a little bit of, you know, dirty grease and things like that. But overall, it's in really good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and just concentrate on some oil in a couple certain spots. I'm going to go ahead and run a little bit of oil all the way around that gear, make sure it's in good shape. All these little moving parts, I got some little dog tooth clutches here and here, and then of course my springs, put a couple drops of oil on there, and I'm in pretty good shape. I'm ready to put that thing back together. The underside of this reel is in great shape. There's no real residual dirt or anything like that, so I don't really have to do anything. I can go ahead and just put that guy right back on and clean all the rest of my exterior components, and this reel's in great shape. Of course, you do have your little bearings right here. I'll go ahead and put a couple drops of oil on this bearing, and of course this bearing right here, and I'm in good shape. I can put it right back together. So give me 1 second. Alright guys, so now I got all my rods, all my reels clean, but that's a great point. You know, you should clean your rods too. You know, check the guides constantly. You're using braid, one little nick. We'll kind of go through those. So clean your rods too. Make sure the guides are nice and clean. Alright, but back to the reels. Okay, so now I got all these guys in good shape. I'm going to kind of go over the lines that I have on them. So on my Calcutta D, I typically throw, like I said, big swim baits. And when I mean big swim baits, I'm talking about, you know, some of the S-glides, some of the Jackal, some of those bigger baits. You know, they're anywhere around the 4-ounce mark is kind of where I'm throwing right now. So I typically use 22-pound Sunline or 25-pound Abrase X. These are the two lines that I particularly like. I kind of go back and forth. I'm trying them all out just to see what I like the most, but it is 100% fluorocarbon. So 25-pound Abrase X will be going back on the Calcutta D. This is a 201 7.1 or 70 to 1 gear ratio. So this is my frog setup. So it's going to be a 60-pound braid. The one I'm using right now is, again, it's also Seagar. It's the Kaizen braid. This is a newer line for me. I just started trying it because I got it at a great price, kind of a closeout price. I'm hoping I got enough line on here to spool it up. I don't get a lot of line on this reel to begin with because it's a medium arbor and it's 60-pound test. This line bleeds really bad. I don't know if you noticed what color it was when I took it off, but it was almost white, and this is, as you can see, a dark green line. So that's what's going on my frog setup. On my other reel here, my 51E, it's a 6:4 to 1 ratio. It's a really small reel, and so I go back to the fluorocarbon. I've been kind of dancing back and forth between 14-pound and 17-pound, but the newer line that I'm trying out right now is this XPS fluorocarbon. It is the Bass Pro, designed by the KVD Signature Series, but I am very happy with this line so far. You know, compared to, say, Sunline in this same price, I've been trying that Sniper, I've been trying the FC Structure. This stuff's holding up really well. It's lasting a long time, and I'm pretty happy with it. So right now, until that other reel comes in, I'm gonna go ahead and put 17-pound test back on here so that I can flip with this, you know, small little jigs, things like that, or I can throw my crankbait, seeing how it's a 6:4. Once that reel comes in, I will be dropping this down to 14-pound test. I will be putting the 17-pound test fluorocarbon on that one, and that one will be designated for kind of my fine-tuning, my flipping, things like that. Okay? And then, of course, I got my spinning rods over here. We didn't go into too much detail about them, but what I've got on them right now is the diamond braid. Again, I got a great opportunity to buy some of this stuff. It was 300 yards. It spooled up all 4 of my spools. It is 300 yards on here. It's 20-pound test. It's a light blue. Of course, I put a trace on the end of it, about a 6-foot leader of fluorocarbon, 10, 12, 14 pound at the heaviest. But I'm using that for my wacky rig, for my Texas rig worms, my weightless flukes, things like that. So you know how to spool a reel. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but that's just a quick tip on what kind of lines I'm using right now. Again, you know, I've got Seagar, XPS, some diamond braid, and then of course as I'm spooling it up, as soon as I get it on there, don't forget, put a little bit of line conditioner on that fluorocarbon. What typically happens is the fluorocarbon gets dirty. It starts to change color. That's dirt that's hanging onto it. So the other thing you can do is you can take this line conditioner, spray it in a rag, run that line through there, and that's going to help with some of those memory issues that you got. It's going to make that line last a little bit longer. As we all know, fluorocarbon is expensive, and you know, $40 to spool up every 2 weeks kind of gets out of control. So do the best you can. If you need to back it up with some monofilament, but otherwise, you know, there's a quick maintenance and for both your line, your reels, and your rods as well. Stay tuned for more tips, guys. If you like this video, you got any questions about what I'm using, please comment below. Comment below what you want to see more of. This was just a routine maintenance day for me. I thought I'd share it with y'all. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button down in that corner if you want to see more videos. And thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned.